'Cause when the music fades and all is stripped away, and I simply come, longing just to bring something less of worth that will bless your heart. Now I'll bring you more than a song.
Challenging thing for many athletes is to learn how to recover from a loss. A team puts so much hard work and so much energy into every encounter with an opponent, but only one of them comes away a victor. For the losing team, the loss can be a time of real sadness or even depression as they come down from their performance high with nothing to show for it. To make it in any sport, however, an athlete has to learn how to shake off the loss and move on to the next game. Professional athletes are great examples of this. Whether they are pro golfers or NFL superstars, when you watch a pro athlete interviewed after a loss, you can often tell that they have started to move on. Sometimes they will even laugh or crack little jokes about their dismal performance. Sports writers will sometimes berate athletes for not having enough seriousness or contrition after a loss. But in fact, I think an athlete who brushes off a bad game is probably doing the best thing possible to set themselves up for a future win. God shakes off his losses better than any pro athlete out there. This is what today's gospel is about and what divine mercy is about. God doesn't dwell on what went wrong, or the bad calls, or the teammates who might have let him down. God just immediately moves on to the next event. Jesus did not appear before his apostles demanding vengeance on those who killed him. Instead, he told his apostles to go out into the world and forgive sins. He doesn't berate Thomas for his lack of belief, but instead gives Thomas what he needs to believe. Jesus does not look back into the past or try to figure out what went wrong. Instead, he sets the church up for future victory. No matter what we've done, God is ready to shake it off and move on to the next event of our lives. We might even find that God is more ready to shake things off than we are. This is the essence of divine mercy that we celebrate today, and the call to our own discipleship. We can be confident that God forgives our trespasses. Now we too must go forth and forgive those who've trespassed against us.
Well, again, as we come out of Lent, we a lot of times try to go back to the lack of discipline we had before. And I think one of the things we need to continue to do is, for me personally, that discipline comes from fasting. And what I can do and what I have done is taken on that role as a husband and as a father. And so anytime anything's going on in my life, or more importantly, my daughters or my wife, if they're going through anything that needs extra prayer, I think what we can do is what I do is offer up a fasting. And so for me personally, what I'm doing is I'm not eating anything before 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And once I eat that meal that day, there's nothing in between. There's nothing that night. There's nothing the next morning. There's no breakfast. There's no lunch. And again, I'm just emptying myself of any worldly desires and allowing God to pour into me what I'm trying to pour out. And again, it's just a discipline, and it becomes a little bit of a sacrifice. And then that sacrifice can turn into suffering if we allow ourselves to kind of become victims of it. And instead of uniting ourselves and understanding God's will for us, and again, kind of just allowing God to pour into us as we're emptying ourselves of whatever we think our daughters may be specifically going through. And it's not something that they necessarily have to know. Nobody else around us has to know. Again, we can't become hypocrites and look like we're fasting. But again, as a society, we're in the middle of a spiritual warfare, and we have to continue to increase our prayer. And again, fasting is a soul to our prayer. And so again, once we're able to do that and really have that type of discipline, I think that's when we begin to kind of make a difference. And whatever I may be going through, my daughters, my wife, anybody I love is going through. And again, that's when I believe that this becomes powerful, is when we can unite it with God for somebody, for either, again, our sanctification, or more importantly, for our family sanctification.